Hello, Cannolis, come join the show. Positude podcast is where we go. Slip on your comfy clothes just right. Grab your coffee, feel the light. Maggie Heart will guide you right through the day and through the night. Laugh and learn and feel so free. Dive into this mystery. Every week we bring the flow, fresh and fun and all in love. Survival skills and healing too. Dance along to sounds you knew. Current events and theories bright. Meditation soft and light. Growth and positivity. Mind and soul in harmony.
Good evening, Cannolis, and welcome to another episode of the Positude podcast. I'm your host, Maggie Hart, still wearing a hoodie tonight. Can you believe it? The weather here's been crazy. It's a little bit warmer during the day, but it's still really chilly and windy, especially at nighttime. Plus, we've had a ton of rain and thunderstorms this week, which made my puppies super happy. It's a job getting the most skittish one into a thunder coat and thunder ears. But thankfully, they work really well because the only other alternative is for him to sit trembling on the couch next to me, pretty much on my lap, while I squeeze him as tight as I can till the storm's over. And it's amazing because otherwise this dog knows no fear. But they all start acting wonky a little bit before the storm, and if he can't get to me, he'll put himself in the corner, stick his nose as far as he can up against the kitchen cabinet, and sit there trembling, shaking. I feel so badly for him. One of the others, my other little boy, will actually go over to him and try and console him. It's the cutest thing ever. Animals are truly a blessing, and I'm still seeing at least 6 to 10 animals a day that people are finding within an hour radius of me that are just abandoned, and nobody seems to be claiming about 80% of them this week. So I know we've talked about this before, but please get out and do your part, whatever you can, to help these poor creatures in need, whether it be to donate food or blankets or old toys, or if you're looking for a buddy, adopt a pet if you're able to. And if you find one out roaming the streets, please take it in and do your part to get it somewhere safe. The unfortunate truth of the matter here is the post that I'm seeing. I don't know if this is true or not, but I've seen 2 in the past week where people have called the authorities, and the authorities told them that they will not come and get the animals because they have nowhere to take them. All of the shelters and rescues are full. This is so disturbing to me, folks. Even if you can volunteer and spend some time with the animals at the shelters and just give them a couple of pats or take them for a walk, help to clean their cages, anything that you could do, please help. And the 4th of July is coming up with all the banging from fireworks. So tonight's meditation is going to be a little different. We haven't done a meditation in a while. Here's a simple one that you can do to help you calm your animals during a stressful time. Whether it's during a storm, for fireworks, travel, illness, vet visits, anything stressful. We're going to call it the Calm Hearth Meditation. Sit quietly near your animal. You don't need to touch them if they don't want to be touched. Animals often respond more to your state and your energy than your words. Close your eyes and take a slow breath in. Exhale slowly. Do this 3 times. And now imagine that in the center of your chest there is a warm golden hearth fire. Not a blazing one, but the kind that glows steadily in a quiet cabin. See the warmth spreading through your chest, then through your shoulders, then down your arms, then into the ground beneath you. Don't try to fix your animal. Simply become the calm place. Imagine your pet resting beside that inner fire. No commands, no expectations, no forcing of energy, just warmth. As you breathe, silently repeat, "You are safe. You are loved. You are home." Repeat these words slowly with your breath. If your mind starts to wander, return to the image of the steady golden fire. Our animals often sense emotional states far more readily than spoken language. When we become calmer, their nervous systems sometimes settle in response. After a few minutes, imagine the warm glow gently expanding to include your pet, your home, your room, everybody in it. And then end with, may peace fill this home. Open your eyes, sit quietly for a minute. You might notice your animals sigh, yawn, lie down, blink slowly, stretch, or simply move closer. Those are the signs of relaxation. Here's a little secret that animal lovers discover over time. Many animals aren't asking us to remove every storm from the sky. They're often looking for the steady tree beneath which they can shelter while the storm passes. Sometimes a meditation is less about calming them and more about becoming the tree. Now, if the animal that you want to focus on isn't in its permanent home, or when you're visiting, say, a shelter animal, fostering, pet sitting, or caring for a rescue, your focus needs to shift slightly. So instead of you are home, the message becomes you are safe right now. Animals living through transitions often don't know where home is yet. What they need most is a sense of stability in the present moment. So let's try this version for them. The safe harbor meditation, let's call it. Sit quietly near the animal, breathe slowly. Imagine yourself becoming like a lighthouse on a rocky coast. You are not trying to pull the animal towards you. You're not trying to change their emotions. You are simply a steady light. As you breathe, silently repeat, you are safe in this moment. You do not have to carry yesterday right now. You are allowed to rest. You are not alone. You are special. You are a good boy or a good girl, and you are loved. Now imagine a soft golden light surrounding the animal, not trapping them or controlling them, but simply creating a calm space around them. If they are fearful, imagine the light becoming a shelter. If they are grieving, imagine it becoming a blanket. If they're confused, imagine it becoming a gentle path. Then simply sit with them. No agenda, no expectation, just presence. One thing I've noticed with rescue animals is that many don't immediately trust words. They trust consistency. The food arrives, the water arrives, the person returns, the voice stays gentle. The routine repeats. To an animal, these repeated actions are more powerful than any meditation. From a spiritual perspective, if you like working with intention, you could also silently offer. May you find the people who are meant for you. May your path unfold with ease. May your heart remember safety. I especially like that last one for shelter animals because it doesn't assume where they're going. It simply offers calm and goodwill for whatever comes next. In a way, when working with transient animals, you're not trying to convince them they are home. You're becoming a resting place along the journey, helping them to feel safe, secure, and as though they matter, because they do. Oftentimes, in the case of a surrender like we're seeing nowadays where people are just leaving them wherever, they don't understand where their owners went, and they frequently question themselves, what did I do wrong? Wasn't I good enough? Why did they leave me? They'll wait hours, days, months for their owners to return, not understanding what happened. The sadness in their eyes is tangible. The confusion, I can totally relate to because I can't fathom how someone can keep an animal for any period of time and then just abandon it. They don't understand. And if you've ever watched a show like Rocky Cannolis on YouTube, it gives you a little bit more of an understanding of what the animal's going to. He's very good at reading their emotions. I'm convinced he's an empath and he has healing abilities. So just as we would with an elderly neighbor or someone in need, showing compassion and empathy to all God's creatures or the universe's, whatever your belief structure, is something that we really need to spread more of nowadays. People become just too lost in their own emotions, their own lives. They're rushing from here to there, focusing on what they need to do, their own struggles, their own personal issues. And for those that are reaching out and doing whatever you can for anybody other than yourself or your family, I commend you and I thank you. The States learned a lesson in that this past week when Scotland invaded Boston for the World Cup. Something like 20,000 Scots descended upon Boston and drank them dry. They visited a lot of places like North Carolina, Tennessee. You never know where we're going to be next to an Airbnb that has bagpipes playing at 6:30 in the morning. But Boston got the brunt of it in a very good way. And honestly, drinking all the beer is the most Scottish military operation I've ever heard. No territory taken, no government overthrown, just where's the beer? Speaking of beverages, I hope you're in a comfy spot in your comfy clothes with your cup of coffee or your favorite beverage and your snacky snack, because we're getting into the Clippies in case you haven't figured it out already. But they came to party, and party they did, and they made friends and influenced Bostonians for generations to come. I've got some Clippies about it. Bostonians asked if they could keep them indefinitely and adopt them. Between the bagpipes, the singing, the placing of orange safety cones on the heads of all their statues like they do in Scotland, look it up, it's a whole big thing. They spread the happy vibes and good cheer all over that city and brightened the place. There was a vibe of camaraderie and just general joviality that blew Boston away and ended up with a lot of them exchanging phone numbers and Insta social medias with the Scots, having them over for backyard barbecues, and the Scots were adopting the townspeople, getting them tickets and bringing them along with them to the games and everything. It was great. And everywhere they went, they picked up their garbages in the parks, in the streets, where some of them had spent the night in parks. The next day, there were neat little bundles of their refuse packaged up tidily for the garbage men to take away. They brought a sense of camaraderie and happiness to the city and all over the states, actually, that the Americans really needed. We talk about miracles, or what we would like to call miracles, on this show from time to time, and I truly believe that this was one of them. It was at a low point in our country, and we really needed this shot in the arm, because this was the good kind of jab. The one that fills you with a feeling of happiness and pride for your country, because I also have clippies about not just the Scots, but all of the foreigners that visited here, telling the American people on their social media and their folks back home how wonderful and beautiful America is, how much safer it is compared to their countries, how much more they like the food, the portions, the free refills on sodas, and most especially, Europe went nuts over ranch dressing. Of all things, I have a clippy about that too. They were losing their minds about it so much that TSA literally had to explain how to transport it. Imagine explaining that to your ancestors. We crossed an ocean for freedom. We crossed an ocean for ranch. They were smuggling bottles on planes, and then finally, the internet, the American internet, caught on to it and started to advertise to the Europeans, do you guys know you can get that in dry packets too, so you can transport it in your suitcase? And then they really went nuts. Speaking of powders, I also have a clippy about a person saying that a pinch of baking soda in water will fix you by taking the glyphosate out of your body. Baking soda's been brought to the table, no pun intended, for a lot of cure stuff lately. I don't know about nanobots and your bad credit score, but baking soda seems to be stepping up the game as far as natural cures. You'll have to listen to that clippy. Who knows, by 2030, somebody may claim that baking soda can reset your Wi-Fi password. So, of course, this week, the internet has officially become unsupervised. Every time I think I'm caught up on reality, somebody uploads a video titled, "They Don't Want You to Know This." At this point, I've learned so many things they don't want me to know that I'm shocked they're still keeping secrets. Apparently, there is nanobots and graphene oxide in everything and everybody now. Graphene oxide, smart dust, nano this, nano that. According to the internet, my body is basically a Dell laptop nowadays. I don't even know what's living inside of me anymore. I just know every time I have a headache, somebody says, "That's the nanobots updating." Scary stuff. But at least we have people figuring out ways to detox it from our body. And there's a clippy about the great seed disappearance. A guy says they're slowly getting rid of seeds so we can't grow food. Some of us can't even keep a cactus alive nowadays. We need to work on our gardening skills. This conspiracy assumes a level of agricultural competence a lot of people don't seem to have yet. If society collapses, their survival plan would be to find somebody's grandma, which wouldn't be the worst idea in the world. But I know my cannolis are preparing. I also got a clippy about generals secretly declaring war. Supposedly this week somebody claims generals met to secretly declare war on America and American citizens. Every secret meeting described online sounds exactly like a Marvel movie nowadays. I picture a giant underground bunker, maps everywhere, red lights flashing, and one guy saying, "Sir, the citizens have discovered dish soap." Hopefully while the red lights are flashing and the sirens are blaring, the dogs in the bunkers have their thunder ears on. And the shockwave hit the world this week with the announcement that Jelly Roll and Bunny XO might be getting a divorce. You know, America's favorite Christian couple. Has anybody really looked into the bar they opened and some of the signs on the wall? We'll talk about that in a clippy. That lady has an interesting theory that it might be to hide assets, and I would tend to think that's definitely a possibility because every clip I've seen of them on the internet this week seems to show her being all huggy-kissy all over him. While her book that automatically became a bestseller is rumored about talking him down through the whole thing. In fact, I guess she recently made a public appearance talking about the size of his personal parts. 'Cause, that's standard operating procedure for a real Christian, right? Either way, he's rumored to be worth about 14 to 20 million, and she's worth a solid 7 million, so I'm sure she could afford to take care of her farm. So at least her animals won't go up for adoption. And in another clippy, somebody asked, did grandmas get canceled? And honestly, maybe. Grandmas used to run entire families. Now grandma corrects somebody's parenting, and suddenly she's blocked on Facebook. One lady claims that the sun is killing her plants. She's been putting them on her back deck for years, and all of a sudden this year, one day, and they were all fried. And I can personally attest to that because it happened to me. Although it was super hot that day and they didn't get watered that day. I don't know. Is anybody else noticing that the sun is acting a little weird lately? I mean, when it actually comes out anymore. I have another clippy of a lady whose tracking app, Light 360, showed her deep in the woods in the middle of the night, so her daughter called her panicking or texted her and wanted to know where she was. She was home in bed sleeping, but she had been dreaming about the woods. That one hit a whole new level of strange for me. Your phone is actually participating in your dreams now. Technology has become way too involved. And Oregon wants to criminalize everything: fishing, hunting, farming. At this point, the future sounds like you may look at the vegetables, but you may not touch them. And a guy has a home mechanic theory that Ford and GM supposedly want to ban home mechanics, so they met with Trump this past week. If that's true, every dad in America would immediately declare independence. You don't understand. Fixing things in the driveway is a constitutional right. Some men, though, don't even like repairing cars. They're just like standing near an open hood looking thoughtful. Oh, how times have changed. And then we had Trump's White House MMA event this week for his 80th birthday. I got a clippy of a guy who's claiming it was a Stargate and talking gematria. You'll have to listen to that one and see what you think. And I have a story that's absolutely insane. I've talked about instances like this happening around the country, but a lady in New York City leaves her apartment, comes back, and there's a strange guy sitting on her couch. Imagine it opening your front door and finding somebody already living your life. Who are you? I'm subletting. From who? Apparently not you. The cops arrive, the guy has paperwork, the cops shrug. Now she's sleeping on a friend's couch. At that point, I don't even know what reality is anymore. Imagine paying rent and becoming the guest. And I got a clippy about the pineal gland. The pineal gland is a Swiss Army knife of internet mysteries. No matter what the topic is, somebody eventually blames or credits the pineal gland. But you might find that clippy useful. I know I enjoyed it. And then among a couple of other clippies, I have one about animals in heaven. But the most believable story this week was the ranch dressing one, maybe, because if you've ever tasted ranch, you would understand why entire civilizations would travel across oceans for it. The funniest thing about my clippies this week is they all sound like they're from completely different realities. One guy says nanobots are inside of you. Another says, will my cat be in heaven? Yet another one, Scotland drank all the beer. And somehow they're all sitting next to each other on the same comfy couch and my same feed. Maybe instead of dogs playing poker, I ought to commission somebody to do an oil painting of cats in kilts. Since we're talking animals, let's get into the clippies with one from Bobby and Frey.
Most people have never noticed this verse about animals in heaven. In Revelation 5:13, the Apostle John says, "Then I heard every creature in heaven and on earth and under the earth and on the sea and all that is in them." Think about that for a moment. John doesn't just say some creatures, he says every creature. Then he describes them all praising God before his throne. Now, animals don't need salvation like we do, but Scripture clearly shows them as part of God's creation, bringing him glory. That's one reason I believe God's plan for eternity is far bigger and more beautiful than many people realize.
Next, we'll get into a little bit of current events in politics from Earth and Child, Tessica Vision, and the Isabel Brown. The first two might be considered kind of fringe conspiracy theory topics, but people are reporting on it, so I put it in with the current events in politics.
Current events in politics. Get your current events in politics here. Over here, Mac. Pay attention to what's going on in the world. You need to know this stuff. Use your discernment and see what you think. What resonates with you?
What in the sinister sunshine is going on? I'm 54 years old. For decades, I've been bringing my plants outside when spring comes. Year after year, decade after decade. Absolutely no problems. What in the sinister sun? I bring my plants out yesterday, one day of sunshine, and look what happened. One day of sunshine. It's like they're burnt. It literally killed this plant. Look at this. 1 day of sunshine. It's like the leaves are burnt. What is that? This one. Look, burnt. This one. It literally killed this one. This was big and green yesterday when I put it out into the sunshine. That's what's left of it. Burnt. What in the sinister sunshine? What is going on with our sun that it's doing this to our plants? Anybody else? Drop your comments. Like, this is crazy. I'm taking all my plants back inside. I cannot risk one more day of sunshine out here.
I just want to hear some crazy. So my daughter sends me a message. Mom, what are you doing? What do you mean? I was asleep. Whoa, Life 360 says you're out in the middle of the woods. She sends me a screenshot. I am, in fact, out in the middle of woods, but I was actually dreaming. Yeah. So is like Life 360 attached to my soul now or something?
Great memories of this country when I was a kid, and I used to come up here with my dad, and I want the boys to have the same memories. Actually, I would look around you, Roman, for God's sakes. This is beautiful country here. Take a good look.
I think we all knew Oregon was crazy, but none of us knew it was this bad. Oregon has a new ballot initiative that would criminalize hunting, fishing, and agriculture, farming, because it all constitutes animal abuse now. So let me see if I understand this correctly. Oregon can legalize every drug known to man, like legal meth, and has zero restrictions on when you can kill your baby in the womb in the most barbaric way possible, but you can't harvest an egg from your chicken or fish with your son in the pond out back. Okay. The Peace Act, appropriate, or Oregon Initiative Petition 28, has collected 120,000 signatures in the state, and now the entire state will vote on it in November, but is set to potentially make all of the following criminal acts under state law. First, hunting. All licensed hunting would be classified as animal abuse under Oregon state law. Fishing, sport, and commercial fishing would both be criminalized statewide. Trapping, legal trapping, including pest and wildlife management, animal abuse, illegal, right to jail. You have a family of raccoons living in your basement? That's their house now, honey. Farming and ranching. Do we just forget how agriculturally based Oregon is? Raising animals for food, dairy, eggs, and fiber constitutes animal abuse. And if the law were magically to go into effect tomorrow, 1 million plus Oregonians who hunt, fish, trap, or work in agriculture would be eligible for criminal prosecution tomorrow. I know that 3/4 of Oregon has been desperate to join forces with Idaho for years now, but this obviously would be the last straw, right? Do all of these conservationists proposing policies like this have any idea how disastrous this would actually be for the environment? By the way, hunters, fishers, and ranchers are arguably the most important conservationists on the planet, but go off, PETA. This makes me want to eat a steak real bad and start a homestead and go on a fishing trip. Who else is in?
I see a syndicated development consortium exploiting over $1.5 billion in forest products. I see a paper mill, and if the strategic metals are there, a mining operation. A greenbelt between the condos on the lake and a waste management facility, focusing on the newest rage in toxic waste, medical refuse.
Next up, we got Ford Clippies 2 weeks in a row with this one from Handyman Eddie. Then I got one from several months ago with Triple H talking at the White House about health from Politics the Right Way, because I think the whole WWE thing had to do with that, if I remember right. Trump was trying to send a message to the country that if people are physically fit and good health and they're athletic, and if men were portrayed as real men physically fit to fight, it would send a good message to the country for our anniversary. Or maybe he just wanted to see a fight for his birthday. I'll let you decide. But then I got a couple from Jordan Uhl in Official Truth Zone. The first one, Joe Rogan talking against Trump's UFC birthday bash, and the second one where they're trying to say that it was a ritual and that the ring was a Stargate.
So now Ford and GM are saying they don't want us to work on their vehicles? Good. We don't want to work on their junk anyway. So if you haven't heard yet, the suits from GM and Ford went and met with President Trump last week, and they tried to get him to introduce a bill that prevents guys like me and you from working on their cars. Basically, they're wanting to restrict the Right to Repair Act because the software they're putting in their new cars is dangerous when it's in the hands of the public. But let me tell you what's really going on. You see, when Ford builds and sells a truck like this, they don't make very much off the sale of the truck. I mean, the dealership gets a piece of it, the salesman, a whole lot of people get a piece of the action, so Ford doesn't have much meat left on the bone. So what do? Well, they try to make it up with repairs in the dealership and by selling parts for their crappy car. And nobody likes going to the dealership to get their cars repaired anymore because they overcharge, they don't tell you the truth, and they upsell everything. But this way, they could force you to go to the dealership so they could get the money for the repairs. You see, it's no secret that vehicles Ford and GM have been making aren't as good as the ones that they used to make. And is this on purpose? I think so. I mean, what other reason would Ford have to pin a plastic transmission pan on a nicely designed 10-speed transmission? The answer's simple. They're under-designing them in the factory and then making you pay for the repairs later on so they can make more money. And now what they're trying to do is restrict the information so you and me can't repair it, and you gotta take it to the dealership to get it fixed. And Ford's not alone in this either. GM is making crap too. I mean, their 8-speed transmissions paired up to the 6.2-liter, practically the worst powertrain you can buy right now. And even if you do take it to the dealership, they probably won't even have the parts to repair it right on site. You'll have to wait a few weeks, maybe even months. I've been trying to tell y'all these companies are doing this stuff, and now they're just being completely open about it. It's like they don't even care anymore. They're burning junkyards, building junk, and forcing you to go to them just so you could fix it. It's crazy. 20 years ago, we thought the future with vehicles was so bright and so cool, but now it's just depressing. And the only thing I know to do is just keep working and building these old vehicles.
What you do in your father's garage?
Tune-ups, oil changes, brake relining, engine rebuilds, rebuild some trannies, rear end.
Okay.
Are you ready?
First of all, I'd like to say the same. Thank you to President Trump. Thank you for this honor. I'm humbled by it. I'm truly honored to be on this. Vice President Vance, thank you very much. Secretary Kennedy, truly appreciate all that everybody is doing for the health and wellness of the entire country. For me, since I was 14, this has been such an important part of my life. Health, fitness, sports, nutrition, all of it. I think learning that at a young age sets you up for success in life, and without it, you're in a lesser place for it. So I look forward to the opportunity to do this. I look forward to the opportunity to help make our youth healthy, help get them engaged in sports, and let them learn what it takes to be successful in life. So thank you very much for the honor. Thank you.
Are you ready?
The White House UFC fight is even more stupid than you realized.
The White House thing is odd. I don't like it. I don't like the idea of fighting outside at all.
Well, there's problems with it.
And then there's
too many times.
June, and it's DC, and we looked it up. The last time, like last year, same day, it was 100 degrees.
Yeah. Oh,
That's hot as
You add the lights.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the lights.
You add the lights. That attracts bugs.
They were talking about maybe using fans. Is that enough?
No, it's not enough.
Bug strips everywhere? What are you going to do? Like, how are you going to stop the bugs?
If you have ever been to D.C. in the summer, you know how hot, humid, muggy it can get. And now Donald Trump wants to make people fight for his enjoyment, for his birthday, outside.
You wouldn't ask them to play a World Championship basketball game outside in the sun. No. That'd be crazy.
Yeah.
Right? You play in an air-conditioned arena, and that's how it should be.
Yeah, I agree with you. But I understand the whole thing. And
I get it too,
special.
Listen,
but it's going to be a pain in the butt.
A roof.
Yeah.
Build a roof. Like, you've got all the money in the world, right? You're doing this, you want to do this for America?
Money.
But it is your money. Your tax dollars are funding all the security operations, traffic control around the event. Now the Pentagon is recruiting troops to show up and watch the event, but they have to pay their own way. And to get in, they have to meet strict physical requirements. Even though they say this is part of America's 250th anniversary, this is on Trump's birthday. This is all about him. Instead of doing anything to lower the cost of living, gas, groceries, housing, this is what he's focused on. Another spectacle for himself. And this one is so ludicrous that even Mr. UFC himself, Joe Rogan, is calling it out.
For the thousands in attendance and the millions watching around the world, from the capital city of the United States of America, Washington, D.C.
The UFC event at the White House feels very strange because it is happening obviously on Donald Trump's 80th birthday. And the stage setup looks almost like a Stargate portal. And is that by design? I don't know, you tell me. And something else very interesting about this setup is there is going to be a red corner and a blue corner.
This isn't Republican and Democrat. Every weekend we do red corner, blue corner. But it looks like Republicans and Democrats, which it is not.
And why that is so important is on the World Ahead 2026 edition of The Economist magazine, it actually showed two fighters fighting, wearing red trunks and blue trunks. So we have a red corner and a blue corner. And I just find all of this very interesting, the fact that this is happening on Donald Trump's 80th birthday. Because in Gematria, Satan adds up to 80 in one of the ciphers. And MAGA is the highest degree in the Church of Satan. Is all of this one big coincidence, or is there something more to all of this?
Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble!
The opinions expressed on this program are solely those of the host and possibly her pets, who occasionally walk across the keyboard, jingle their collars, drink some water when they can't steal mom's coffee, growl while wrestling with their siblings, and even snore at high volumes when they feel slighted and are bored. Any resemblance to actual facts is purely coincidental, and this show is solely for entertainment purposes only. Wink, wink, nod, nod. While every effort has been made to ensure accuracy, sometimes our brains run on coffee and wishful thinking, and possibly a conspiracy theory or two. This broadcast may contain traces of sarcasm, bad puns, and music to make you dance. Side effects may include spontaneous laughter, eyebrow raises, and the uncontrollable urge to sing along. Listen responsibly.
Next up, it's conspiracy theory time with a triple shot from Holmes Institute, Evie the Healer, and Raw and Rooted Mama.
I need to come up with more conspiracy theories because all of my other ones already came true. This is for educational and entertainment purposes only. This is all allegedly. Who you calling crazy? Don't make me call my Uncle Tony to straighten you out.
Each day, put a little pinch of baking soda in your water because it has a very high affinity for glyphosate, which is Roundup. Even if you eat organic and filter your water, glyphosate is still a neurotoxin that is linked to things like lymphoma, cancers, Parkinson's, even MS. So it's important to put like a little pinch, an eighth of a teaspoon in your water each day to help pull that out.
What if I tell you that you have Nanobot and Graphene Oxide in your body, and they're using it to control your brain? Yes, bear with me and let me cook. So, graphene oxide is one of the strongest, thinnest, and most conductive material known to man. It has been found in our air, food, and water. Yes, you have it in your body, whether you like it or not. So here's the pattern. For them spraying it in the air for geoengineering purposes, they said. And here's another article about using graphene for water treatment. Graphene oxide bonds with iron in our bodies and it becomes magnetoprotein, which can remotely control our neurons and behavior when exposed to an external magnetic force. For example, EMF frequency like the 5G and 6Gs. It both sends and receives signals. If you have noticed, most of the processed food on shelf today contain high level of ions. The reason being is more evil than you ever think. They're using this iron to make us easier to control, to manipulate. This is why you can simply think of anything. And eventually, you will have an ad pop up for it on your phone. Graphene can also read the commands of our genomes, giving them power to access to every single person's unique biological code. So you must be wondering, why are they doing this? Well, the end goal is new world order. One government, one religion, one currency, one race, one gender. All of these will be run by AI. So the only way to get rid of these substances in your body is by regularly boosting your glutathione production. But let me be honest with you, glutathione supplements are trash because they can't enter our bloodstream in that form. So the best way to boost these powerful antioxidants are by magnesium bicarbonate, vitamin C, vitamin E, and NAD. Or you can also eat fruits like Brazil nuts, bone broth, garlic, broccoli, beef liver, protein, and citrus. On top of that, you should be regularly detoxing heavy metals by sweating it out, like sauna or workout. This video never meant to scare you. It's meant to empower you. So, it's time to take back your humanity and exit the matrix with me.
We are slowly getting rid of all seeds in fruits and vegetables. And honestly, it's brilliant. Because once every apple, grape, watermelon and tomato is seedless, guess who controls life itself? No more planting your own food. No more saving seeds for next season. Everything you eat, everything that grows, will come from our labs. And when the last natural seed is gone, that's when it gets fun. We can make them rare, expensive, maybe even licensed. Only billionaires that will have gardens, and everyone else will have to subscribe to eat. Sounds insane, right? But it's already happening. Seedless isn't convenience, it's containment. Every time you pick up a seedless fruit, you're holding a future that can't reproduce. So yeah, expect more seedless, everything. Because the easiest way to control the world is to stop it from growing. So remember to stay safe out there.
So I put the baking soda in the conspiracy theory section because you may or may not know that the EPA and the European Food Safety Authority have determined that glyphosate is unlikely to be carcinogenic at the current exposure levels. Next up, the one about the generals and Bunny Exo and Jelly Roll from Kurt Cena's and A Truth for You.
What up, IG? It's your boy Killshot. This is part 2 of that video from yesterday about the generals getting called in to go to war within the cities of the United States. This is part 2. This is what they're doing. Notice what he said, loosening the rules of engagement. This terminology is very important. So, it's coming, folks. Everything that we've been talking about for years is finally here. What are you going to do with it? This is our moment. This is it. It's time to do this, folks. Get organized, man. Talk to 5 of your neighbors. Get 5 like-minded neighbors in your neighborhood to lock it down when it goes down. Talk to people, man. Get the like minds together, because we're going to be the ones carrying the load of the unlike minds. If you don't know, now you know.
Breaking news, martial law is coming in hot. This morning, President Trump told a room packed with generals that America is facing a war from within. He wasn't talking about a foreign enemy. He was talking about our own cities. Trump named places like San Francisco, Chicago, New York, and LA as training grounds for U.S. troops. And here's the kicker. Troops are already on the ground in at least 5 major cities: Memphis, Chicago, Washington, D.C., Portland, and Los Angeles. The president said we're under invasion from within. No different than fighting a foreign war, except this enemy doesn't wear a uniform. His defense secretary backed him up, calling for looser rules of engagement and untying the hands of soldiers here at home. Critics say this crosses into dangerous territory that blurs the line between military and law enforcement and risks putting American troops directly against American citizens. One thing is certain. The United States military is no longer just preparing for war overseas. It's being positioned for war on U.S. soil. I've been trying to prepare you for this since 2023. I told you it was coming.
And Bunny Hole are getting a divorce after almost 10 years of marriage, and America is crashing out because they are the number 1 Christian country couples in the States. They didn't get enough attention when Jelly Roll was eating his boogers behind the President of the United States at the UFC fight. They definitely weren't getting enough attention when the media blasted that he was losing weight every day for 2 daggone years. They definitely didn't get enough attention while rebranding as Christians, while building a bar in Nashville, Tennessee to feed spirits to the locals, while blasting on the walls "In Whose We Trust." They didn't get enough attention with Jelly Roll's compliance to the Grammys, in which he won 3, even though Morgan Wallen's numbers blew him completely out of the water. They didn't get enough attention while pushing Bunny Exo's new book, which ended up becoming a number 1 bestseller, which was all about publicly humiliating Jelly Roll. They definitely didn't get enough attention when Jelly Roll went live on Jimmy Kimmel talking about things stinking.
Hello, old friend. There you are. You smell horrible.
A
lot has come out about Jelly Roll in the last year or so, which almost shows an alter ego, don't you think? A side of Jelly Roll no one knew existed, and not even a personal invitation with a meet and greet, a hangout section, a free concert could persuade any of us to shut up about how we actually feel. So if you want my personal opinion, this could very possibly be just another attention grabber. But I will ask you this. Labels lend millions and millions of dollars to their musicians. And when they want that money back, what do? And what would be the easiest way to hide assets? Asking for a friend. Uh-oh. Jelly XO and Bunny Hole are getting a divorce after almost 10 years of marriage, and America is crashing out because they are the number one Christian country couples in the States. They didn't get enough attention when Jelly Roll was eating his boogers behind the President of the United States at the UFC fight. They definitely weren't getting enough attention when the media blasts that he was losing weight every day for 2 daggone years. They definitely didn't get enough attention while rebranding as Christians, while building a bar in Nashville, Tennessee to feed spirits to the locals, while blasting on the walls "In Hoes We Trust." They didn't get enough attention with Jelly Roll's compliance to the Grammys, in which he won 3, even though Morgan Wallen's numbers blew him completely out of the water. They didn't get enough attention while pushing Bunny XO's new book, which ended up becoming a #1 bestseller, which was all about publicly humiliating Jelly Roll. They definitely didn't get enough attention when Jelly Roll went live on Jimmy Kimmel talking about things stinking.
Hello, old friend. There you are. You smell horrible.
A lot has come out about Jelly Roll in the last year or so, which almost shows an alter ego, don't you think? A side of Jelly Roll no one knew existed, and not even a personal invitation with a meet and greet, a hangout section, a free concert could persuade any of us to shut up about how we actually feel. So if you want my personal opinion, this could very possibly be just another attention grabber. But I will ask you this. Labels lend millions and millions of dollars to their musicians. And when they want that money back, what do? And what would be the easiest way to hide assets? Asking for a friend.
It's peanut butter jelly time, peanut butter jelly time, peanut butter jelly time. Where ya?
Next up, did Grandma get canceled from Randy Crawford coaching and the lady with the apartment in New York City from your bestie, Misha?
Okay, I want to know, did we cancel Grandma? So somewhere along the way, it went from it takes a village to the village better keep its mouth shut. One grandma writes in that her grandson was at her house and he kept jumping on her couch and she said something. And this got her in a lot of hot water. Apparently, you don't give advice to the kids, you don't correct their manners, you don't tell them what to do, you don't hold them too long, you don't feed them peanut butter. You do what the parents want you to do or you don't do it at all. So this is interesting to me because I know that in some families, when grandma says something, it's like religion over there. Those kids listen. In other families, grandma says the wrong thing and now she's on the restricted list. So which family are you?
I just saw the craziest story. It's not mine, but my friend Bree, she lives in New York City. She's been there forever. She owns her apartment. Okay, that's important. She owns her apartment, and she was just in the UK for work for the last 7 weeks, and she just posted that last night when she got home, she unlocked her door, opened it, and there was just a random man sitting on her couch. She said she just stepped out and shut the door, assuming that she walked into the wrong apartment somehow, realized that that's not what happened, and then opened the door and was like, "Who are you?" And this man, who she's never seen before in her life, said, "I live here." What? She was like, "Dude, this is my home." And he said, "No, I have a sublease. I'm staying here for 3 months." So she did what I think all of us would do, definitely me. She called the police for a home invasion. So the police show up, they go to the door, and they're like, "What's going on here?" This man shows them a sublet contract for 3 months. That's not true because she's never seen this man before. And then the police were basically like, "This is a he said, she said situation. You need to go and try to evict him." Since when can you just walk into somebody's house, claim it as your own, and then it's on the homeowners, it's like their responsibility to prove that you don't actually live there? That's terrifying. This man refused to leave, and she ended up staying at a friend's house last night. She has no idea how this man could have known that she wasn't home. She has no idea how he got access to get into her apartment. She had the keys. So stay tuned. This is all developing. It just happened late last night.
These streets will make you feel brand new. Big lights will inspire you. Hear it for New York, New York, New York.
Ladies, the next time the guy that you're talking to tells you, I just want to be friends, you reply with, thank God you said it first. I didn't want to hurt your feelings. And now he's mine. And you gave him back all his self-confidence problems.
Next up, the Scotch section. Wow, that kind of sounded like a spot on a bar shelf, didn't it? The Scotch section. Never mind. So we got a triple shot from Brittany Kulenga, David Law Music, and Evie Hand.
I don't know what Boston did to deserve the Tartan Army, but can we keep you? Think of it as like a mentorship program where you stay and teach the people of Boston how to be whimsical and joyful and respectful. Because here in America, we're used to our sports teams winning and somebody flips over a car and lights it on fire. Now with the Tartan Army, your sports teams win, and you're cleaning up after yourselves before you leave the common.
Boys have tidied up. Nobody likes leaving a mess. I mean, it happens sometimes, but it's the people of Boston have been really nice to us, and I think it's just a bit of respect.
This is truly the most joyful thing to descend upon our city, maybe ever. We truly don't deserve you.
2026 World Cup. Scotland just took over an entire American city this weekend, and I owe them a huge apology. I was unfamiliar with how hard the Tartan Army goes. So for the 2026 World Cup, we have Scotland competing in the tournament, and it's their first tournament in 28 years. And for their first game, they played Haiti at Gillette Stadium, where they won 1-0. It was their first World Cup win in decades. And while this was happening, over 20,000 Scots took over the streets of Boston. They marched through the streets with bagpipes and kilts. Thousands of them went to a Red Sox game last night, and they were just singing songs the entire night. They're doing parades, playing the drums at 6:30 in the morning, and there's guys in kilts with bagpipes playing outside of their Airbnb. And every single video I see of these guys, all they're doing is singing, having a good time, happy-go-lucky, sunshine and rainbows. And I also just read that when the Flower of Scotland song was being played at Gillette Stadium or Boston Stadium during the game, it registered at 125 decibels, which according to this chart here, is where pain begins. And apparently the locals of Boston are calling this the friendliest invasion ever. But I gotta say, the Scots might have the best fan base of the World Cup so far. I'd say that the Netherlands or Japan are close second and thirds, but this is a whole nother level of fandom that I was unfamiliar with. Scotland just
raise a glass and sing from the highlands to the harbor. It took 30,000 strangers to remind us we were neighbors, and we haven't been the same since when the Tartan came to Boston.
Next up, the ranch dressing and the Europeans from Fox 4 News, Garden Grunt 11B, and Delmonico Clock.
TSA issued a warning to those visiting the U.S. for the first time for the World Cup. There are many videos of people trying all sorts of different American cuisine. The most popular is actually not a food, but a condiment. Ranch dressing.
This was hilarious.
Yeah, ranch.
They did a tweet or a post on X.
TSA kind of poked fun at the new trend with a few warnings. One post said, days since the last airport ranch incident. 0. Another post said, pack ranch in your checked bag on the way home. Don't put it in your suitcase. Commenters under the post gave some friendly advice. One person added, wrap it in a plastic baggie just in case it explodes. Good idea. Tons of other people article suggested a smaller, mess-free substitute with the ranch dry mix packets. One commenter said, mix it with buttermilk and mayo, and then just,
This is for the American people, for the wonderful American people. Hear this message. I just want to say, American people, amazing people. I'm so sick of them being abused like this. They don't deserve it. They're not racist. They hate people that come here and commit crimes and say, we hate America, we hate American people. To your country, if it's so good in your own country, then why are you here? In no way, shape, or form have I found Americans racist. Think about this, you guys, yeah? You foreigners, right? My fellow foreigners. If you had people coming into our country committing crimes, would you not be hateful towards them as well? Of course you would. If anything, they've been so nice to us. Like, they've welcomed us into their community. I love the community we're in. I'll tell y'all, they're amazing people. Can't find this anywhere else in the world. I promise you that now. Okay, Americans are not racist. They hate people that come here, commit crimes, and show hate towards America. Now, my fellow foreigners, if you're hating America so much, if America is not meeting your expectations, don't go on social media saying how you hate America, how you wish you was never here. Get your passport, book a flight, and go back to your country. Can you do that? Yeah? Stop abusing America and its people, okay? You wouldn't even allow a criminal into your home. Why should Americans do so? I constantly see comments from foreigners. Yeah, foreigners, yeah. We hate America. We don't want to be here. America is a racist country. Go back to your non-racist country. See how that turns out for you. Take your kids back there then. See how life is there for you. No freedom, no justice, nothing. Ain't nothing in your country. That's why you're here. Now, I'm originally Albanian, right? My childhood was in England for most of the years anyway. Some of the years were in Albania as well. So I got both cultures in me. And now I'm going to retire in US, okay? And I'm going to proudly retire in US. Albania was a communist country. I didn't live it. My parents and their parents lived that. It was horrible for them. I am super proud to be an Albanian national, okay? What I'm not proud of is our government's letting us down constantly. All they ever do is let us down, which is why people leave the country to go to better countries such as America, England, Germany, Sweden. I'm not okay with Americans being abused and accused of being racist. They're welcome to us into their own communities. We need to appreciate that, respect their culture. Okay, learn the language. Number one, learn the language. You can make a life here, learn the language. Why should Americans have to put up with it? Why should they? They allow us in. Okay, into their community, welcome us into their community. They're there for us when we need them, okay? We need to show them some love, respect, and appreciation. Can we do that? If our countries were better than America, we would be in our country. And let's remember, everybody's got their reasons for leaving their countries, okay? It's different reasons for everybody. I will proudly stick up for America, because America doing a lot more for me than my country did. I'm not even going to lie. When I first moved to America, I hated it. I hated it because I left the city life for the country life. That was rather difficult for me to adapt to. My sons, however, they adapted very easy, a lot quicker than I did. Bless their hearts. America is country number one for freedom. Now, mainly women in so many different countries know that freedom does not come lightly, does it? My fellow foreigners, don't come for me on this one, because what I'm saying makes total sense. Okay? I'm walking and talking at the same time because my girls need me. Anyway, American people, I hope this message will kind of give you a smile that the majority of us, foreigners living here, love you guys and love your country, and thank you for letting us stay here.
Europeans have taken the piss out of America. They're so loud, they're so rude, they're so stupid. Why is everything so big? Why do they love their country so much? All of those people right now are eating their words. Because of the World Cup, people who wouldn't normally go to America are going to America. I am seeing reaction videos everywhere. People are loving it.
They are loving the food, they're loving the culture, they're loving the people, they're loving the size of everything. People are starting to understand how amazing America truly is, rather than just listening to the media and what other people have told them. Once you truly experience America, you won't want to go anywhere else in the world. And I'm loving this for you Americans. People are bigging up America so much, especially the showmanship. Eagles flying around stadiums, music, dirt bikes doing flips. Like, insane. I love it. I'm happy for you guys, America.
Isn't it amazing to hear such positive things from foreigners and the respect and the admiration that was shown us by Scotland and all of the other countries that visited us for the World Cup, and then that young lady who talked about how proud she was to live here? This is certainly not the liberal narrative. This isn't some entitled little college brat who goes on camera to tell us how much they hate our country and disrespect our veterans who served to give them the freedom to be able to say those things out loud. This isn't some psycho in a jihad telling us that our country is backwards and they're going to take it over and we need to do more for them.
Give some people a drop of water and they'll thank you for life. Give others the entire ocean and they'll still say it's not enough.
I could have played about 5 more clips of people who were here visiting that marveled at how safe, relatively speaking, our streets were compared to their own home European countries because of their illegal immigrant situation. This whole segment gives me the warm fuzzies because this is the boost that some of us need, not only to remind us as though we need a reminding of how blessed we are to live here, but to recognize the fact that we are still very special and we need to fight to preserve what we have here. It was a different class of people that were here for the World Cup. They showed grace, courtesy, and respect, something that a lot of the illegals that are here, unfortunately, have no concept of because of their country's morals and values, or lack thereof, combined with the lack of IQ due to inbreeding. So let's keep this positive vibe that we got from the European clips going with a clippy of Robin Williams on Life from Bandana List Media and one from Astro Mortis and Severus Present.
The thing that matters are others. Way beyond yourself. Self goes away. Ego, bye-bye. Realize there are a lot of amazing people out there to be grateful for, and a loving God. And that, other than that, good luck. That's what life is about.
You see, gratitude is not simply saying thank you for things. It is the recognition that you already have everything you need. When you feel grateful, you're not lacking. And if you're not lacking, you are no longer chasing. In that moment, you vibrate at the frequency of abundance. Because the universe doesn't speak in language. It speaks in resonance. And gratitude, our gratitude, is the song of alignment. So when you feel grateful, not for what's coming, but for what already is, you become a magnet, not for things, but for the energy that makes all things possible. That is abundance.
I think you would give me everything you own in 25 years' time to be the age you are now and as healthy as you are right now. And I think it's a really interesting meditation to think about if you had a time machine, if you were 30 years in the future, if you could be this healthy and feel this good, you give everything materially that you own in 30 years' time to be back here. I think that we suffer in the West a little bit from life dysmorphia. You hear a lot about body dysmorphia or gender dysmorphia. We've got life dysmorphia. A lot of people think their life is terrible because there's kind of the hedonic treadmill. You get used to how great your life is. No one had a hot shower until 50 years ago. Well, no one that you admire from 100 years ago had this simple pleasure in life. And when you look at the world that we live in, we're like, there's been 100 billion people ever, right? We are in the top percentile in terms of the luck that we have had. The lives, like the calorific intake that we just take for granted, the fact that our children don't die, in the first year, the modern medicine, and our lives and the entertainment that we get. We're living like kings. And yet, life has never been objectively better and subjectively worse.
Next up from Abundance 1000, the one on the pineal gland, because that's been a hot topic of conversation. A lot of people are questioning me about it and want to know more about it.
These patterns are getting ridiculous. 369 and the number 7, both of them are hard-coded into one organ in your brain that lets you receive God, and they buried it on purpose. The pineal gland is a pea-sized organ at the geometric center of your brain. Every other part of your brain has a left and a right twin. The pineal gland stands alone. Yeshua said it directly in Matthew 6:22. If your eye is single, your whole body will be full of light. He was pointing at the organ. Now here's where it gets interesting. The 7th letter of the Hebrew alphabet is Zayin. Its gematria value is 7. Its name means crown. 7 times 7 is 49. The pineal gland forms in the human fetus on day 49, the same day the embryo decides if it will be male or female, the same number that Tibetan monks chant for 49 days between death and rebirth in the bardo. This is divine design. Tesla said, if you knew the magnificence of 369, you would have the keys to the universe. The crown chakra resonates at 963 hertz. Reverse the digits, it's 369. The pineal frequency is the Tesla code playing in your skull. Sacred geometry calls it the seat of life. 6 circles fit perfectly around the 7th in the center. Your pineal gland is that 7th circuit, the hidden center. The yogis call it Anja. The alchemists called it the seat of the soul. The Egyptians carved it on every temple wall as the Eye of Horus, which when you overlay it on the brain scans traces exactly the outline of the pineal gland. Project MKUltra, Stargate, remote viewing programs at Stanford Research Institute, funded by the CIA from 1972 to 1995, they were testing what the pineal gland does when it's activated. The same governments that funded that research put fluoride in your water. Fluoride calcifies the pineal gland faster than any other tissue in the body. The inner Christ enters the body through the pineal gland. Read Revelation again with that lens, and the whole book stops being prophecy about the world. It's about anatomy, and it's about you. Stop drinking fluoridated water. Get sunlight on your eyes within 30 minutes of waking. Sit in silence for 7 minutes a day, and let the gland breathe. The system we're in buried the pineal under 3 layers of cover. Religious translation, hidden scripture, government chemistry hardened in your skull, and cultural noise drowned at the frequency that activates it. They did it all for a reason. The pineal is the organ that makes you ungovernable. A human whose third eye is open does not need a priest to tell him what God is. He doesn't need a politician to tell him what is true. He doesn't need a screen to tell him who he is. You have a crown inside of your head. The 7th seal, the 49th day, the 963 frequencies, the single eye Yeshua told you about 2,000 years ago. Open that damn thing. Thank you, and I love you.
Next, it's Gen X Growing Up by the Garbage Mom. Get your pens and paper ready, because after that is the recipe.
Nobody came to our athletic practices. Nobody brought sliced oranges. And certainly no one was arranging a play date for us. Here's how my mama arranged a play date. At 8 o'clock in the morning, my mama would say, y'all go outside and play. Boom, she'd lock the door. We were outside all day. We didn't have anything to eat. We didn't have anything to drink. We didn't have a juice box or any goldfish crackers. We were thirsty. We drank out of where? We're never going out of business, y'all. And what were we doing in the yard all day? Well, we were trying to kill each other. We had rock fights, we had dirt clod fights, we had green pine cone fights, and we had BB gun fights. Right? We were shooting each other with BB guns on purpose. Our parents knew it and no one cared. They bought the BBs.
I've lost 260 pounds eating in a calorie deficit. These are my low-cal, high-protein mini tater tot casseroles. I've got a pound of 97.3 extra lean ground beef. 2 cans of French-style green beans. You can use fresh green beans if you want to, but I think these taste better. Half a cup of blended low-fat good culture cottage cheese, seasoning with garlic powder, a little bit of all-purpose seasoning, pepper, and some salt. Taste and adjust your seasoning as needed. I think that's perfect. Add 2 eggs just to bind it all together. Now this is the fun part. I pre-cooked these tater tots. We're gonna add 3 per muffin tin. My muffin tin looks dirty because it is. I actually already made this recipe, filmed it all, and the footage got deleted, so just trying to stay sane. I'm gonna use the back of a measuring cup to press them down. You want them to kind of look like a mini pie crust. Then I'm just using a cookie scoop to portion my filling. Then we're gonna add 7 grams of reduced fat sharp cheddar cheese per muffin. Then just pop them in the oven at 400 degrees. Here's what they look like immediately out of the oven. We're just gonna let them cool for like 10 minutes, then you can just flip this entire pan over and they pop right out.
That was by Smaller Sam PCOS. I noticed she didn't say how long to cook the little tart things. I would try a half hour and see if the meat is cooked. If not, maybe 40 minutes. But that's my show for tonight, folks. I hope you had as much fun as I did. If you need any help with spiritual, physical, mental, or emotional issues, please reach out to me at Maggie, MAGGIE_heart, HEART @outlook.com. Please like and share my Facebook page, The Positude Podcast, and also on ERRT Radio. Please listen Tuesday nights, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. There's a chat room. You can go in there and interact with me and some of the other folks. I appreciate all of the shares. Our numbers are growing. Please keep it up. I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you all so much for listening, and have a good night.